Hi, welcome once again to my channel, and in this video I'm going to show you how to integrate Linux server to FortiSIEM. I'm running Linux. I'm running Ubuntu 24.04 2 LTS server, and I'm going to use the Linux agent script to integrate the server to the FortiSIEM so that we can collect logs, monitor the logs and security events from the Linux server that we have currently. So if you check the documentation from Fortinet, we'll say that the FortiSIEM currently supports Ubuntu 14.16 up to 24, and we need to also have a prerequisite package we need to install, which is this. So I would start with installing this directly. So this is our Linux server install. Okay, why? So the next thing for us is to download the Linux agent from the support portal. If you go to support, the fortinet.com, we need to download the Linux agent and upload it to the Linux server's desktop so that we can be able to install it. So, so go to services, go to support, firmware download. Then search for the SIEM, then download 7.0, 7.3, 7.3.2. Then you could see Linux agent 7.3.2 zip. So we have to download this. Then put in your firmware. So let's wait for the download. The Linux agent is done. One of the first things we need to do is to install SSH on the Ubuntu server. So let's try and install SSH. So apps, open SSH server. So now we've been able to install SSH. Let's move it to download. So it's under downloads. Okay. So we need to create a directory on the Linux server where we're going to copy and paste the FortiSIEM Linux installer from the Windows to the Linux. And also we are meant to also give it the right permission for the directory to be copied. So let's do that. So we need to use the SAP command from the Windows PowerShell to copy the Linux installer agent from the Windows to the Linux server that we want to install it on. So let's do that. So the installer has been copied into the Linux server. So let's check and confirm that we have the agent installer on the Linux server we want to install it on. So let's add on. Same, we need to create a username for the agent that we're going to use so that we can be able to link and integrate the Linux agent directly to FortiSIEM. So if you come to FortiSIEM under CMDB, you would see user. So under user, you see FortiSIEM's user. Let's create new. So we want to create an agent username for this. You can give it any name. So far, you can remember the username and the password because we are going to use it for the integration. So let's name it agent. Then come to FortiSIEM attributes. Then under FortiSIEM role, click on admin agent. Then give it a password. Um, okay, let's save it. So we have this name set up. So the username has been set up. So the next thing is for us to go to the Linux agent, the Linux server. Let's go to the Linux server and from the documentation, we need to run this command from to install the agent on the Linux. So if you go to let me I've copied it into a note. So this is bash for the same Linux agent installer. This is the name of the installer that we copied to the Linux server. Then the super IP is the IP address of the FortiSIEM. Let's copy this, which is so let's paste it here. Then the organization ID is 1. So if you look at this, the organization is super, then the scope is local. We need to, then the organization name is super. Then the agent ID, agent username, the one we just created, agent. Then the agent's password is so let's copy this and let's paste it. Let's use putty to sign in to log in. So I use putty to log into I use putty to log in to the Linux server. Then in the Linux server, we have ls cp. So ls cp download. So I'm in the directory where the Linux server, the Linux agent was pasted. So let's just copy and paste the command and let's run it. So let's use sudo. apps. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so then the last one, DNS puts use. So let's go back and now install. Let's run the bash command again, which is this. Now, installation is successful. So now, so let's start the agent user. Then, so we're going to SSH into the Linux server that has the agent installed on it using PuTTY or any other one. Then we are going to run the following command to start the services. So let's start the agent. So the Linux server, the Linux agent is service has been started on the Ubuntu server. Now let's go to the FortiSIEM, and under FortiSIEM, let's go to CMDB and devices. By the time we come here, we would have seen that Unix Linux has been added. Let's click this. So you can see we have Ubuntu and we have the IP address, and the status is currently unmanaged. So let's change the status to approve so that we can move ahead. So what we need to do now is to go to admin and create the Linux agent template. So under here, let's create new, let's give it Linux. Then let's also go ahead, monitor. Let's check out this. What we want it to monitor for us. Under syslog, also we want a level of information from this. Okay. So you can determine which of these processes you want logs for based on what you want. Then go to log file. So under log file, we want to also monitor um directory. You can be able to monitor directory on the log on the SIEM from the Linux. So let's try and put this directory here for monitoring sake, and I will use my name as the prefix. So then we can also have what is known as file integrity monitoring by monitoring what the status and modification state of each file within the Linux server. I'll just have to just for us to know if any log is being modified, or can be able to know that as well. Let's save. Then the process monitoring, let's just check it. Let's ensure everything is well. Okay, let's save. So once this is saved, we've created the Linux agent template. The next thing, the next thing is to assign to host. So let's just name it Linux, and yeah, we have Unix, Ubuntu, then save. Uh, let's click this Linux template, and let's save. So we need to install at least one FortiSIEM collector for the Linux agent to work. So let's quickly do that. So go to admin and go to settings and config, cluster config. So under the event upload workers, we need to put the FQDN of the FortiSIEM, which is the supervisor there. So instead of using the IP address, we'll use the FQDN. That means you should have registered it on your DNS. Then also go to admin settings and also go to the FQDN system and also paste the FQDN of FortiSIEM in the field there. So you should have defined this in your DNS server so that the FortiSIEM IP address will be resolvable to the DNS. So let's quickly install the FortiSIEM virtual collector on the VMware Workstation Pro. So we are going to use the same image that we use for installing FortiSIEM supervisor, and we are going to set it up for collector. So navigate to where the FortiSIEM image is that you downloaded earlier, double click it and import it on the VMware Workstation Pro. If you don't know how to do that, kindly watch the previous video on how I installed the FortiSIEM supervisor all in one. For virtual cores that we're going to be using. Then we need to put add additional disk for the SDA to be 100 gig so that the event can be passed successfully. Then using that, then click OK. Now we can start the VM center. So you'll be required to change the password from the default password, so you can give it your own password. Make sure you remember the password. So the next thing is to go to cd to the bin directory, so we can be able to launch the config wizard. So use this command to launch the config wizard. Select yes. Choose a time zone and your country time zone. Then select collector and install without FIPS. Then select next. Choose IPv4. Then give it an IP address. Use .230. Then I also include my DNS, which is 10.15.13.220, and a public DNS, which is 8.8.8.8. Then click next. Then make sure that you have the Fort collector IP address registered on the DNS, so you can be able to resolve it. So the IP address will be resolvable to the FQDN that we're going to set here. So on my DNS, I already have FSM underscore collector as the .230, and you can see my FortiSIEM IP DNS as FSM, which is .222. So I'll give the FQDN FSM underscore collector dot cyberpoint.com. Next, enter. Then next, then run it. So would allow this to run. It will take time. By the end, at the end of the whole installation, it will bring out a prompt which is installation successful, and it's going to reboot. Ensure that all these take place. So SSH, we need to SSH into the collector now using PuTTY 10.15.13.230 that we just set up. Then log in with the root and the password that you set up. Then we need to run this command in order to register it with the FortiSIEM. So I have the command in my notepad. So let's run this command and add. The admin is the username for the FortiSIEM and the password of the FortiSIEM itself. Then we have the IP address of the FortiSIEM as a supervisor. The super is the organization, and FSM collector was the one we set up initially. So if you could go to admin, setup, and collector, we added new, and you see the name we gave it is FortiSIEM collector, guaranteed EPS 500, upload rate limit, and EPS 2000, and we save. So using that parameter in here to we copy this and we paste it on the FortiSIEM collector that we SSH in, and we can see that we've been able to successfully register the FortiSIEM collector, virtual collector with the system. So if you go to admin health and collector health, you'll see that the FortiSIEM has been successfully integrated. It's still at a critical stage. The status is going to change later to normal. So let's continue with the Linux setup, Linux agent setup. So let's go to Linux agent. Then let's go to host to template association, click new, then give it a name. I'll give it Linux, and I'll select the Linux agents, and also we have the FSM collector now. Select it. Then under the host, I'll select the Ubuntu server under Unix Ubuntu. Then under device, save it. Then save. Then we are going to apply. So apply this. So yes, once it's applied, we can now see that the agent on the agent on the Linux server will start, sending logs. So if you come to CMDB, no, let's go to admin, and under Earth Collector, you would see that we have our Earth Collector installed, and the state Earth is normal, and we can see that we have all, event passers, coming through them. Then if you go to the agent Earth, which is for the FortiSIEM, you can see we have all the process and the resources, be it the uptime, CPU, network, and disk utilization, being sent to FortiSIEM. Then under CMDB, let's go back to Ubuntu. So you can see that this Ubuntu server that we installed, which is 10.15.151, and agent logs. If you click on this, if you double click on it, so you will see summary of the server, the IP addresses, device type, the head, and also the performances in terms of category, severity, and all the properties in terms of interfaces, processors, and all that. Coming to properties, what about monitor? We can see that the agent got some level of event some couple of minutes ago, and we can see all the other resources on the Linux server. Then we can also see all the running applications and hardware, storage, configuration. Then another thing is also that we can also look at the logs. If you look at details, 1 minute. Okay, we've seen all this. Then when it come to incidences, you would see all the events being sent from Ubuntu server. You can see Linux file content, Ubuntu discovery via built-in system network connections. As per security, under security, we have all these agents file. This is file integrity monitoring being sent from the Linux server. So we have successfully installed and integrated the Linux server to FortiSIEM, and is getting logs and events from the FortiSIEMs from the Linux server.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.